Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, the one of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect. Okay, in this video, I'm going to go into the fact that a lot of men have fell out of this truth behind their woman. And one of the reasons that, I'll just say one of the reasons that a man will fall out of the truth for his woman is because he's seeking rest. As we read in Micah chapter 2, verse 10, it says, I'll read it real quick. Micah 2 and 10. All right, Micah 2 and 10, it says, Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And that's talking about us Israelites here in America, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to arise and depart out of the ways of America, because this is not our rest. Okay, but you have a lot of guys that know that they're Israelites. They were called to teach the word for a period of time, and then they fall out of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this truth. And it's because they're seeking, one reason is because they're seeking rest here in this kingdom and here in America. Okay. And one of the ways that the Israelite man seek his rest is under the woman. You know, when you're catching hell, when you're going through different things, you know, here in this wicked kingdom. And I'm speaking about here in America, but this definitely can apply to any of the Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the world that are catching hell as being an Israelite, you know, catching the curses that are written of in Deuteronomy 28, starting at the 15th verse on down. Okay. And one of the ways that a man will seek rest is through his woman. Okay. And this is according to the scriptures. So the Most High is telling us to rise, depart, for this is not our rest. Our rest, okay, is in these scriptures. That's where we're gonna get a peace of mind. That's where that's our supposed to be our escape from all the turmoil that we have to go through, knowing that we're Israelites living in this wicked kingdom, okay, patiently waiting on the Lord Yahweh Shai. So this is to bring out another scripture. This is 2 Timothy. Was it 1 Timothy? Okay, Salakia, it's not in 1 or 2 Timothy. I was thinking about 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 7, and it reads, And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahweh Shai shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels. Okay, so we are troubled here in Babylon the Great, and here in America and throughout the world where Israelites are scattered. Okay, and this is Paul writing to the Israelites in Thessalonica, and he's saying to those of us that are, and this applies to us today. Okay. Because what does Romans 15:4 say? The things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and faith might have hope. I'm roughly paraphrasing. So, of course, catching all this hell, by nature, you'll be seeking rest. And Paul is telling us right here that the ones of us that are troubled, which really is the elect men, okay, like Ezekiel 94 says, that the men that sigh and cry for all the abomination that be done in the midst thereof, okay, the men are the ones that really gonna be sighing and crying for all this wickedness, okay? It says, and to you who are troubled, rest with us, meaning rest in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, okay? Which this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is referred to in a feminine sense as a woman, okay? But the point that I'm getting at is that you have a lot of guys that fall out of this truth because they're seeking rest. This is one way they fall out, is because they can't put up with the turmoil, the hell, because they're seeking rest. And one avenue of rest, really the main avenue of rest, is the woman, okay? Because a woman in her natural order really is supposed to give a sense of rest onto the man, okay? Of course, ultimately, we get our rest through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, okay? Through righteousness, through the kingdom, okay? But what does the kingdom that's to come, Salakia, of course, knowing that you're an Israelite and knowing that this kingdom is going to come, if you have that faith, then, your rest should lie there, that you're waiting on this kingdom so that we can actually rest. That's why I read Micah 2:10, because the Most High was telling us to rise and depart from the ways of America. This is not our rest. We have a rest to come, okay? And that's the kingdom. The kingdom being established for the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Now, what I was saying was you have a lot of men that fall out because they can rest through their woman, because really a woman in her proper order does give rest unto a man. And that's according to the scripture. So what I would like to do is go into this scripture, or a few scriptures real quick, because I don't want to make this video too long. But this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and verse 34, and it reads, "He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession." It says, "A help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest." So a woman, and Salakia, because I'm a little bit under the weather, trying to get over this chest congestion, so bear with me. A woman in her right order is supposed to be a help unto the man, or a wife or a woman that's saying the same thing. Is supposed to be a help and a pillar, support, okay, which gives you rest, okay? Like, for an example, here in this setup, of course, when the kingdom come, we're going to be in perfect order, but I'm talking about here in this setup, in the so-called white man's kingdom, we have to work. We're in these broken down bodies, we're under curses still. And, when you get off of a hard day work, and I'm using this as an example, it would be nice to have a cooked meal, a home cooked meal. Okay. Your clothes washed. Okay. A bath ready for you. Okay. And a woman that don't give you no mouth, and she gives you, sex, pleasure. That's a avenue of rest. That's why a lot of guys, they run to the woman because they're looking for the woman to give them rest, but these women are not in their proper order. And furthermore, even if the woman is in their proper order, you still gonna catch hell. And then Paul tells us that in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. Okay? If you deal with these women, you're going to have trouble in the flesh. I'm roughly paraphrasing. If you deal with these women, you're going to have trouble in the flesh. So that's something that men look for is rest from catching all this hell. But that's what we signed up for. Part of being in this truth is to catch hell. And really, that's to purify us, to build us, to break us down, only to build us up to a higher estate. Okay, through the talking about our spirit. But men go off looking for rest in that woman to escape the hell, and you're not gonna get rest from these women in this time because they out of order. Okay, and even if the woman was in order, we're in the time of catching hell, if you believe in this truth, on to the end, okay? Enduring on to the end, that's part of it, okay? And really your woman giving you hell, giving you problems is part of the hell that you're going to catch. But you got these guys that don't want to deal with the trials and tribulations of being in this truth. So they go and seek rest, and they'll seek it from their woman. Because majority of guys fall out of this truth due to the fact that they caught up on their woman and what their woman want. And in reality, they're seeking rest, but they're not going to get it. Okay? Now in the kingdom, our women will be in order, and everything is going to be in order, and we will have rest. Even dealing with our women, But the focal point of this video is that a lot of guys fall out of this truth seeking rest through their women, okay? Because a woman in her proper order gives a man a sense of rest, okay? Now I got another scripture. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 20. Salakia. So Genesis 2 and 20, it reads, "And Adam gave names to all the cattle and to all the fowls of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him. And the Lord Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up his flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord Yahweh power had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man." Now I'm not going to go into that breakdown, but the point was really in the 20th verse. Towards the end of the verse, it says, "But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him." So what is that saying? That the woman was created to be a help unto the man, as we read in in Sirach, the 36th chapter, the 24th verse. A woman is supposed to be a help and a sense of rest. Okay? And men catching hell in this truth, they can't take the hell. They go seeking rest through this woman, and you just not gonna get it. Okay? Fully. All right? Thus said the scriptures. Now I got something else. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 14. It says, a silent and a loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much work as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and a faithful woman is a double grace, and her content mind cannot be valued. So you're looking for these qualities in a woman that will give you rest. It makes you feel good when your woman is, if she was shamefaced, if she was faithful, okay, if she was silent and loving, okay, unto you. You're not gonna fully get that on this side. Certain brothers get that to an extent, but we're not gonna get the fullness out of a woman into the kingdom. And you have guys that fall out of this truth because they're seeking rest or these different qualities that's gonna make them feel good from a woman. Okay? A lot of times, like for example, in the world, when you ain't got no money, when you're doing bad, if you got that one woman that'll deal with you in that down state that you in, it makes you feel good. It makes you kind of forget about all the hell that you catching when she loving on you. She's giving you attention and things like that. So you have these men that are going to the woman to seek rest and end up falling out of this truth, And I got one last scripture. I'm gonna end it on this. There's other points I could have made, and even other scriptures I could have brought out, but I don't want to make this video too long. Once again, I want to reiterate that a lot of guys fall out of this truth, and we've heard the apostles give testimonies of making the statement that most men fall out of this truth due to women, or they've seen most men that have fell out. They fell out due to the fact of women. Okay, the first example that we see of man going off is behind a woman. Adam and Eve, So the point once again is to highlight that men fall out of this truth for women because they're seeking rest. But the true rest is the scriptures, man. This is the woman, that's supposed to keep you enduring unto the end, getting into this woman, because according to Isaiah 33:6, it says that wisdom and knowledge, which wisdom is equated to a woman, okay? If you read the scriptures, it's in multiple scriptures, and that's gonna be what hold us down through all this hell and unto the greatest hell that we're gonna catch, in the hour of temptation. All right. So let me get the scripture. I ended on this. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And verse 7. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7, it says, for a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but the woman is the glory of the man. And that's the point. That the woman is the glory of the man. So men are trying to seek rest through their glory. They go into their glory with their glory in to give them rest. Okay, we really not going to get the true glory out of our women until the kingdom is set up. That's why it's so important for you to push in this truth, so that you can receive this kingdom on the first go round and you don't have to deal with the ultimate destruction, these different plagues, and you make it through so that we can get these benefits. Even though ultimately all Israel will get, the benefits of the kingdom, we will rest finally. We will have our woman in perfect order. But on this side, you're not going to get no rest in the woman, okay? You got a lot of guys fall out this truth because they're seeking an escape from this hell through the woman by way of rest, okay? The scriptures tell us through the mouth of Paul that let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, our woman is not in her proper order, so we really not gonna get the glory that we looking for out of her. Okay, let me see if I can find this. It's 1 Corinthians, it's the 7th chapter. And I'm looking for the verse, if I can find it. Okay, so Salakia, I found the verse. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 28. It says, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. So the point that I want to get out of this verse, I'm not going to go into the backdrop or the first part of this verse, but the point is, if you get with a woman, okay, and you marry, meaning you have sex, yeah, that's a spiritual thing, and you're gonna get into her, but you ultimately you're not gonna get rest from her. You're gonna have trouble in the flesh, okay. And men fall out of this truth thinking they gonna get rest, but really they just gonna get trouble. They get trouble in the flesh, man. So that's pretty much it. We gotta strive in this truth unto the end, and hold up the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as our woman, that we're gonna get rest in, as I read in 2 Thessalonians 1, and I believe that was the 7th verse. That's where we're going to get our rest. We're not going to get our rest from these women. Okay? And a lot of guys that fell out behind the woman. And you can only imagine where they at right now. Somewhere bugged out of their mind, catching hell. The woman probably didn't left their ass. So with that, I hope this video was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the Spirit. Shalom.